Everybody, Michael here from Replica Airgun's going to appear around the cranny, and today we're doing the field test shooting video for the Ruger Mark IV. This is a brake barrel spring piston .177 caliber pellet pistol. It's a replica of the real steel version. Check out my tabletop version or video for this gun where I go over the details, the specifications, a little comparison to some other products, all that kind of stuff. We are selling this in both our Canada and US Replica Airgun store. It is a fairly economical pistol to buy and to shoot since you don't require CO2. All you need is a tin of pellets like I have here. I've got some Sig Sauer pellets, and I believe these are about 6.9 to 7 grain. I'm not sure exactly, just some flathead pellets. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some shots through the chronograph, see what the actual feet per second is. It's claimed to be about 320 using standard lead, medium grain pellets like we're using here today. So we'll see if that's true. We'll put about 4 to 5 shots through the cranny. If they're consistent with the first 3 or 4, I'll probably stop there. But if they're moving around a bit, I'll probably shoot 5. Then I'm going to basically set up a paper target 30 feet downrange. Use this rested and seated position to try and get as accurate of a grouping as I can. Hopefully 10 shots, if I count right. So let's start with the chronograph test here. Let's see what we get here. The first shot, you got to take it off safe every time you crank it. 313, so pretty close to the 320. Let's fire another one through here. Again, these aren't the lightest lead pellets because you can use alloy pellets. They will go faster since they're lighter. 311, so not quite 320. Temperature will not be a factor in here because this is a spring piston. It's not a CO2 air gun. The temperature is about room temperature right now. 310, so it seems to be losing a little bit of power here. I'm not sure why. We'll just keep firing it until it either goes down some more or comes back up. 314, so we'll do one more. I think that's either 3 or 4 shots. I'm not even sure at this point. One more should be enough to give us a good idea of what the feet per second actually is, real world. And duplicate, 314. So highest one I think was 314. Lowest one was just a little lower than that. So we'll average those shots out, those 4 or 5 shots. See what the average is. Again, 320 was the prescribed feet per second using lead pellets. Again, lighter pellets, alloy pellets in the 5 grain, versus 7 grain will shoot significantly faster, probably more in the 350s. But I like using lead pellets. I think they're, a good pellet choice. They carry their speed a little longer downrange. They're not as affected by winds and things like that. All right, let's set up the target now and see what kind of accuracy we can get with the Ruger Mark IV. So I've got my paper target all set up. Let's get right to it. We'll put the first pellet through here. We're going to do 5 rounds, or maybe a few more. We'll see how it goes. Because this is a brake barrel, I usually do 10 rounds, but we'll probably do 5 or 6 just because it takes a little bit longer. But if we're getting a nice tight group, we'll just keep it like this. Okay, so here we go. Shot 1. We'll do 5 and then we'll take a look, and if I feel like we need to do more, we'll do more. Depends on how it goes. This trigger is a little harder than... Oh yeah, you can't forget that or you'll be pulling all day. Okay, so I can see one's a little bit to the left, one's a little below. Really trying to get this. Not sure where that one went. Maybe it's in the black. Could be in the black. Or is it really low there? I can't see it. Okay, we're getting a little lower on the target. It's spreading out quite a bit. So I might keep shooting just to see if I can get a more distinct pattern happening here. Shoot a couple more because I just want to get something that's kind of consistent. Because some of this is me just learning the trigger. The trigger is slightly harder than I'd like it to be, but I don't feel I'm pulling any shots. I don't feel like I've really messed up any of them so far. They've all felt okay. Let's just take a look, because they are moving around here. Now, maybe a different pellet choice would make a difference. They were good left to right, within almost an inch left to right, but vertically they were moving around. That could be velocity inconsistency. Sometimes that'll affect how the gun shoots up and down, right? If the velocity's a little faster, it'll shoot higher. If it's a little slower, it'll shoot lower. Again, it could just be me pulling the gun a little bit. The trigger is a little firmer than the, for instance, the Umarex, the Buckmark Umarex. This Ruger Mark IV seems to have a heavier trigger, at least that's what I remember. Now, I was using a red dot with the Umarex, and I was getting better groupings at 30 feet when I did test that gun out. So, you know, possibly pellet choice could make a difference, but this is the test I got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess 2, 4. We got 6 shots unless there's a double there. Thought I might have shot more, but 6 or 7 shots, and it looks like we've got about, unfortunately, a 2.5 inch group. Let's just, to be kind, let's throw the top one out there because a lot of them wanted to come lower. That was, I believe, my first shot. So we'll throw that one out just because I was getting used to the trigger. And we'll say it got a 2-inch grouping. Mostly the differential was in the up and down. The left to right seemed to be a lot better. So keep that all in mind. It's a nice gun. You know, but this one between the Umarex and the Mark IV, I'm not sure which one I like. I kind of like the look of this gun. I do like the fact that the Umarex can accommodate a rail. That's kind of nice that it has that. This gun is a little more compact, and as I mentioned in my tabletop video, I think the metal trigger is nice, that it has a metal trigger, and the barrel's a little firmer. So those are some things that are definitely a bonus when it comes to this one. All right, again, we do have this in our Canada and US stores, to check those out. Check out my tabletop video if you haven't already watched it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, we have air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories in both our Canada and our US Replica airgun stores over at replicaairguns.ca and replicaairguns.us. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, take care.